Remember what you said. You promised me, you said you would. You gotta give in, so I'll be good. Tell me a story, then I'll go to bed.
Oh, worry, worry, weary ends my day. Comes the time to go home without my raise in pay. Home by the fire where a man can just relax. Slippers there by the chair, not a worry, not a care. Along comes Junior, swinging his little axe.
Tell me a story, tell me a story, tell me a story, remember what you said. Tell me about the birds and bees, how do you make the chicken sneeze? Tell me a story, then I'll go to bed.
Came home so late one evening last July. Played a little poker, the time had passed me by. Shoes in my hand and my darling wife in bed. Up the stairs saying a prayer, then a voice comes through the air.
Hiya there, Daddy, remember what you said. Tell me a story, tell me a story, tell me a story, remember what you said.
I scoured the internet looking for some of Dad's old songs, and I found a lot of them. One I couldn't find, which I'm convinced that he still made up, was Bonanox, Pashtidava of Bonanotte, Imsatrotev, Bonwi. Bli bli, good night, Sagor, Kfar Abayit, Laila Tov, Higi Asof, Lel Shlomot, Machar Lehitraot.
If we answered you, I'd have crazy all for the love of you. It won't be a stylish marriage, I can't afford a carriage, but you'll look sweet upon the seat of a bicycle built for two. Everybody loves Saturday night. Everybody loves Saturday night. Everybody, 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 everybody loves Saturday night. Everybody loves Saturday night. I hold your hand in mine, dear. I press it to my lips. I take a healthy bite from your dainty fingertips. My joy would be complete, dear, if you were only here.
The most fun part of any car trip with the family, no matter where we were going, whether it was Mount Vernon, Harper's Ferry, apple picking, the most fun part was singing in the car. We used to beg and plead for Dad to sing There's a Hole in the Bucket in Hebrew. For some reason, Leona and Yosef is much funnier than Henry and Liza. We would laugh and laugh and laugh when Dad said, Ayosefa, Yosefa, Yosefa.
Angwale pulele kene wakipula. Angwale pulele kene wakipula.
I remember Dad volunteering to put me to sleep at night when I was a little girl, and 9 times out of 10, he was the one who ended up falling asleep first. When I was in 7th grade, Dad took me on a special trip to Paris and to Israel. I got to see and do lots of things on that trip that I'll always remember. I saw the Eiffel Tower, I walked along the Champs-Élysées, I got to know some of my Israeli cousins and practiced speaking Hebrew. But the thing I remember most is going to Eilat and Dad letting me eat, probably 3 times a day, a dessert with strawberries and whipped cream.
There's so many times I've let you down, so many times I've played around. I tell you now, they don't mean a thing.
Dad, I'll never forget, when I was about 5 years old, you took me to New York with the family. We all went to the Statue of Liberty. And apparently, on the way up, I wasn't really able to hold my own weight, and I needed some help. And I'm pretty sure you put me on your shoulders, and you walked up about 85% of the steps to get to the top of the Statue of Liberty with your 30-pound or 40-pound 5-year-old son on your shoulders. Well done. Thanks again for the lift, and I hope your knees feel good. Love you, Saba. Happy birthday.
One more time, let me kiss you.
Dad had the distinct pleasure of teaching me how to drive, not once, but twice. Not only did he teach me how to parallel park and accelerate onto the highway when I was 16, in my mid-20s, he had the opportunity to teach me how to drive stick shift. And I appreciate all of his efforts and patience. I know I was not the easiest student, because at the time I refused to make any left turns. Thanks, Dad.
תפקחו את העיניים, תסתכלו סביב, פה ושם נגמר החורף ונכנס האביב, בשדה ליד הדרך יש כבר דגניות, אל תגידו לי שכל זה לא יכול להיות. אנשים טובים באמצע הדרך, אנשים טובים מאוד, אנשים טובים יודעים את הדרך ואיתם אפשר לפעול. איש אחד קנה לי ספר בן 100 שנה, איש אחר...
Happy birthday, Gene. So there are a few wonderful things about Gene that I love, and one of them is how sentimental he is. And one of my favorite memories is from Josh's and my Ufruf. And we're standing with the rabbis and with our parents, all of our parents, at the Bima, and our parents are holding a talus over our heads to like a huppah, and we're standing there and they're singing to us, and the whole congregation is singing to us, and I feel this tap 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 on my head. It's falling on my head, and I look over and Gene is crying hysterically and shaking his part of the talus and hitting our heads, and then I just lost it right then and there. And my other favorite memory of Gene is one holiday, I believe. We were at services, high holiday services, with Talia, and Gene was going to read the Haftorah. And he went up to the Bima and he was saying one of the blessings before the Haftorah, and Talia yelled out, "I like this song!" And ever since then she's loved hearing her Saba read from the Torah. Happy birthday. Love you.
Dad, another great memory that we have of you is 7 days after we came home from the hospital after David was born. You were the sound deck at his breast. He was an interesting baby. Lots of noise, lots of crying. And we knew that you had a tendency, especially at Steph and my wedding, to be a little shaky, but we had no doubt, not a doubt in the world, that you would do a fantastic job as a sondak and join us in the birth ceremony. It was great. You were great. David, of course, was a little noisy. And now it's almost 2 years later, and I can't believe it. Thanks for being part of that, Saba. We love you.
Hole in the bucket, there lies a hole.
Well, fix it, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Oh, fix it, dear Henry, fix it.
With what shall I fix it, dear Liza, with what shall
Picture
I
a
fix it?
cowboy all dressed in red, fell off his horse, busted his head.
Blood on the
Saddle, blood all around, sprinkling blood, so blood all around.
Yay, Talia! Can you say Saba, I love you?
Saba, I love you.
Oh, that was very nice.
Happy birthday.
Cut it, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Oh, cut it, dear Henry, cut it.
With what shall I cut it, dear Liza, with what shall I cut it, dear Liza, with what?
With an axe, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. With an axe, dear Henry, with an axe.
One of my favorite old memories of Dad was being a little kid in the back of the van, driving to camp one year, I believe it was, and we stopped for dinner at the Ground Round, and Dad proceeded to circle around the restaurant, and around the restaurant, and around the restaurant, while all of the kids were in the back starving, until he finally turned around and said to all of us, "There's no way in."
On what shall I sharpen it, dear Liza, on what shall I hone it, dear Liza, on what?
On a stone, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. On a stone, dear Henry.